The thing about New Orleans right now that I see is that this is a time for change. I'm working with lots of different groups because I've been involved with multidisciplinary activities. When I leave here tonight, I pulled together a group of all the photographers in town, and we're working towards creating a nonprofit organization, an international photography expo, Thanksgiving weekend, dealing with the archival issues of what do you do if you're a photographer. You know, a lot of photographers lost everything. Their negatives, their prints were washed away. How can we funnel money from the outside if there's no infrastructure? And I think this is a time, you know, where anyone in this audience, you know, if you have an idea and a passion, you can start something in this town because the brick walls and the rules and regulations are no longer here. And as long as you're willing to sort of take your idea, get other people to work with you, and you know, pursue it, a lot of really great things can happen here.
So, if they do have an idea like that, then is there a group? You just said there's a photography group. What other group can they reference to join or to kind of get themselves started?
Well, I think one of the most important groups in town in the music scene, of course, is the Tipitinas Foundation. And I mean, they have done an incredible job in, first of all, networking between the musicians. I mean, everybody was scattered. I was fortunate enough to come back here before Rita had a place to live and worked with the Tipitinas Foundation. And we called a couple community-wide meetings. I guess this was back in November, maybe. And 80 people from the music community showed up, representatives from the universities, representatives from the classical music scene, record producers, the handful of musicians who were back in town. It was really the first time that the music community had broken down those barriers of, oh, the classical music people can't talk to the, you know, the House of Blues people and stuff. And again, everybody was just so damn happy to be back and see each other. I mean, there's a whole different feeling of community here, which I hope we don't lose, and I think we will if we're not careful. But Tipitinas is really the organization that has taken leadership in the music community, and I think will continue to do that. They've sort of evolved Tipitinas from purely, you know, the nightclub with the music offices elsewhere. They've combined them, and they're continuing to raise money and to come up with ideas to provide money for musicians. Also in town, you have the Musicians Clinic, which was founded basically to provide inexpensive health care to musicians who obviously don't have health insurance. Most people in the arts don't. And all of their facilities went underwater. They evacuated to Lafayette, and they're back with a vengeance, actually taking on a few things that are different from their mission. They are getting the Musicians Clinic up and running here. They've got one now in Lafayette, and they're opening up one, a sister clinic in Austin, Texas. But oddly enough, because of some of the principles, they've been able to raise money, and the Musicians Clinic has been giving every musician in town who asked $100 to perform. One of the problems coming back to town with clubs was that the clubs were broke. They didn't have the audiences, they didn't have the money to pay the musicians. So this was a nice thing if a band of 5 was going to play at one of the small bars or something, they could get $500 to pay the musicians. So they've been doing this, and I think they're going to evolve to do a little bit more like that, although right now I think their goal is to expand the Musicians Clinic to also include people in the service industry and in restaurants. I mean, most people working in the arts end up being waiters and waitresses, and they too don't have any kind of health insurance. And another organization that is really moving forward is the Habitat for Humanities. I'm sure everybody's read about the Musicians Village. They've broken ground on that. Habitat has an amazing ability to raise money. They've raised millions, and it looks like they even have the money now for the, the Ellis Marcellus Music Center / school. So anyone who's interested in existing organizations, those are some of the organizations you can partner with.